Scott here, Scotty's Animals. I'm still in shock. Just, I don't know. My brain's like turned off, but at the same time, there's like a million things that are running through my mind that I want to say or that I'm feeling. I think first, the most important thing is to just explain what happened. Mike's gone. I had to put him to sleep because the vet said that would be the hardest thing you can do for a pet and the kindest thing you can do. When they're in pain, is to let them go. Yesterday, Mike was eating hay, and I gave him a piece of lettuce, and he purred. He was always like that. He'd be sitting in the tunnel or in his house, and you would present a piece of lettuce that he wasn't expecting, and he would purr, this excited purr. Piggies purr for a million reasons. I've got a video about it, sometimes when they're frightened or when they're rumbling. But Mike, the key to his heart was always through his stomach, and it would be like he'd take a bite or two and then he'd just purr. Not like a long purr, but just like a purr or a purr. And he had tooth issues, and he had either an abscess or something sensitive with his jaw a few months back. And he had his teeth trimmed, and he had an x-ray, and there were no stones. The vet said that his heart was good, and he looked fine, and he was strong enough for anesthesia to have his teeth trimmed. And he was on antibiotics, and I was giving him the probiotics, but he still ended up with some kind of a GI stasis, and his digestion was having problems. And how much time do I have left? Okay, plenty of time to explain this. I just don't want to get cut off here. So this morning, for the past month or so, the goal was to get, his teeth realigned, or get his teeth back to normal, and get him eating hay consistently, and it's this delicate balance with guinea pigs with their teeth and their digestion. And he had the gut problems, and so I finally was able to get him eating hay, getting his teeth healthy, his poops for a while there after his antibiotics. They were little, then they were soft, and over the last month, his poops were solid. He was eating hay mostly. I still gave him his lettuce because he loves his lettuce. And I've been monitoring his tooth issues. About a year or so ago, he developed this head tilt, and ever since then, his ears had been sensitive. There was this calcification of the inner ear that you see on x-rays of piggies with head tilts, and he had that. And I asked the vet, and they didn't really know. I asked a number of vets, and we're aware of it at the rescue, but no one seems to know what causes it or if it's curable. He was on ear drops when this first all started. And his ears have been sensitive. A few weeks ago, his eye was a little sunken in, and I knew that he was a little dehydrated. So I started giving him the electrolyte mix, and giving him Benebac, and that resolved itself. And over the last few days, I could see that his ears were sensitive, but he was eating well, he was pooping well. And then this morning, he didn't want to eat. So I started him on critical care and this other AmeriAid emergency food, and also the SAR-X electrolyte mix. I gave him Medicam for pain and a little CBD on his ear. And after a few hours, I thought maybe it's gut related. And so I gave him the 2 gut medicines that he was given the last time he was here at the emergency vet. And you can give one of them once a day and one of them 3 times a day. So I gave him both once. And then a few hours later, I gave him the second one. If you hear my stomach rumbling, it's because I drove 3 hours here, and I haven't eaten anything, and I'm not complaining, but if you hear my stomach rumbling, that's why. So I talked to Abby, and she was like, maybe he needs SQ fluids, even though I've been giving him electrolyte mix and lots of emergency food. I figured, these guys are always open, so I just made the decision to come. The last time I drove here, he was really weak and limp, and the bouncing of the car ride got him pooping, and when I got here, his carrier was full of poops. But this time, he just was progressively getting weaker, and when I got here, he was laying down, and he basically was crashing. The vet seemed to think that it was some kind of GI issue. Maybe he said it's possible there was even a torsion. It's where like the guts, or even he said the liver inside there gets twisted up. And he said the prognosis generally isn't good, but in this case, by the time I got here, he was kind of gasping and I guess you could call it convulsing, and he was very, very weak. And so they suggested that we ease his suffering, and that, there was no telling how long it would take. The only other time I've had to do it was with Timmy, because he was in such bad shape with his Satin syndrome. I've been with friends when they had to put their pets to sleep before. But it's not the same as when it's your pet. Even though it's sad and it's upsetting, when it's your friend's pet, you don't have all the memories that you have. And with Billy, he had a cancerous lump in his abdomen, and he'd been battling the heart disease for so long. And really, like, every day I'd wake up and I'd wonder if he was still there. But with Mike, it's like he was getting better. He was better. He was doing so well. I mean, his ears were sensitive and it was bothering him. And the teeth. It's possible that maybe an abscess came back in his teeth, but he was eating really well. He was eating hay, it's like his poops were good. He was eating constantly. He was eating the right food in the right proportions. And so, there's no reason, no cause for concern. He was maintaining his weight. And then this afternoon, he just was bad. And I didn't jump in the car and drive him out here right away, because I thought, well, I have the same medicine from the last time he was here. I had the gut medicine, so I gave it to him right away. But then I thought, yeah, maybe he could do with the fluids. Anyways, this is a really long, sad video, and I don't blame you for not wanting to watch it. I was able to relieve his pain at the end. I wasn't able to save him, but I was able to relieve his pain, and I always tell people when they've gone through that, that's it's one of the hardest things that you can do, and it goes against every instinct that you have, but in a situation where they're dying and I knew I was losing him. It's the kindest thing that you can do. And I don't know if it's a coincidence or, the vet tech was like, maybe he, had a broken heart. I don't know if he ever really liked Billy that much. That's the thing about Mike. He just always tolerated whoever he was with, even though most of the time he got bullied. But I never felt like he should be alone. And if you gave him too much crap, he would bite your ear. Not me, but I saw him nose punch or bite Billy's ear a bunch of times in the last month or so. Because Billy would have his days where he was feeling better and he would purr and chase Mike around, and Mike would just snap back at him. Never maliciously, but, just sort of like, letting him know. Well, I don't want to ramble. There's no point. But I feel bad, I don't want anyone to think that I've neglected my pigs, or, I mean, it is weird that Billy passed and then Mike passed basically 1 week and 1 day apart. There was nothing contagious because Billy died from heart disease, or maybe it was the cancer. I mean, I think it was most likely the heart disease. I guess I never said it, but the vet said that, the cancer was inoperable because it was in his abdomen and his heart was so weak he wouldn't survive the surgery. So it was just kind of keeping him comfortable. If Billy would have gone downhill in a slow, painful way, and I thought there was a possibility that I would have to take him, but he went so fast. I mean, I don't think that people think that, this is my fault. But when two piggies go so close together, you gotta wonder. But I did everything I could for both of them. I mean, it's a Sunday night now. And this emergency vet was the best place to take him. They saved him last time. Well, now I'm definitely rambling. So I'm just going to sit here quiet. And I guess I'm going to stay over because I have to be at the rescue tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to leave early, as early as I can, so that I can bury Mike next to Billy. It's hitting me hard. It's not the same as Billy because, I mean, even though Mike was 5.5, maybe close to 6, he was probably about 6 to 8 months old when I rescued him. And I mentioned earlier in a video that was December 1st, 2015. So that's 5 years, 5 months, and 10 days. Am I doing the math right? So he's probably 6. But he wasn't a Cooey. So who knows how long he could have lived. That's what hurts the most, is that I don't know what caused the head tilt. I mean, we know, but we don't know really what the cause is or how to treat it. It's so tough with the animals because you can't ask them what's wrong. I mean, I know that this channel, I know for a fact that I've been able to help people take better care of their animals, and some of my illness videos and, advice when people message me have helped them save their animals, save their piggies. And even tomorrow I'm going to pick up some piggies at an animal shelter. So I'm grateful to be able to do this. So thank you guys. I'm definitely rambling. This is a 30-minute video that no one wants to see. Anyways, I'm not going to start it over. And thank you guys so much for your condolences and messages about Billy. I really hope you'll understand. I'm sorry if this is upsetting. I mean, it is upsetting, and it's real life. And I made a video about 10 reasons why you shouldn't get guinea pigs. And I think that the 10th reason was if you can't handle it, if you know, piggies have huge personalities and they have short lives. And you got to take care of yourself so that you can take care of them. And that means surviving them, living longer than them. But being strong for them, being there throughout their whole life. It's a gift and it's a joy, and it's really hard. The only alternative is not having any of those moments. So I'll take it. The good and the bad and the sad. I mean, none of it was bad. I don't regret anything. I hope I didn't make any mistakes, but I'm here. I wish I would have come sooner, but I don't know. It's like, it's just all a balance. Do I put him in a carrier and drive 3 hours? Or do I let him rest, give him fluids, give him critical care, and maybe he'll bounce back? You just don't know. So, anyways, I'm sorry for this really long, sad video. I'll end it now. If this video really is upsetting and bummed you out, but yet you watch this whole thing, maybe now go watch some of Billy's birthday party. You can see all the pigs, all the single boys. Hanging out. Sharing birthday cake. That's how I want to remember them. So, I hope that's how you guys will remember them too. This is my little Mikey. All right. I'm really sorry if this is really upsetting. All right. I gotta get some rest. does feel good to talk, but I know how hard this is to watch. Oh, okay, guys. Good night.